CNN anchor David Rayma thought he had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez right where he wanted her, on live television, cornered over her so-called radical Green New Deal policies. Let's be real, he probably rehearsed his smirk in the mirror. That morning, perfect for the concerned centrist thumbnail, he muttered, while adjusting his $1,200 tie. But what happened in the next 90 seconds? It didn't just shut down the interview. It shattered the illusion that progressive politicians need permission from corporate media to fight for the people. The clip went viral in under an hour, faster than my last DoorDash order. The host never responded. An AOC. She walked off that set not as a guest, but as a warning. To every media elite who thinks they control the narrative, pro tip: if you're CNN, interview ends with crickets instead of a thank you. You've probably been AOCD. If you've ever felt the system is rigged, this is the moment that proved it. This wasn't just another awkward TV moment. This was a generational clash. Old guard media profiting from fear versus a new wave of politicians who refuse to play along. David Rayma, CNN's top-rated anchor. Yale grad. $6 million salary, yes. Per year, that's like 120,000 avocado toasts. Spent weeks building his case, calling AOC's policies unrealistic fantasy, Medicare for all, cancel student debt, tax the ultra-rich. Nice ideas, he sneered on air, but they'll never win in middle America. Translation: I've never met a middle-class person who isn't obsessed with my LinkedIn analytics. So when he invited her on his show, his producers extended the segment, hoping for fireworks to boost ratings. They even ordered extra coffee for the control room. This'll be like watching a toddler critique a Michelin star chef. One producer joked. Famous last words: what they got instead. A masterclass in political courage, and a lesson in why you never bring a pen to a truth fight. Picture this. Studio lights blazing like a Times Square billboard. Rayma leaning forward, pen in hand, because nothing says serious journalism. Like aggressively scribbling, she's so emotional on a notepad that smirk he's famous for. Honestly, I think he practices it while eating kale. Congresswoman. What? Let's be honest. A lot of Americans look at your policies and think, that sounds great, but who's going to pay for it? Classic Rayma move. Sounds like a fair question. While framing her entire platform as financially irresponsible, it's the political equivalent of asking a firefighter, cool hat, but who's paying for all these unnecessary fires? AOC just smiled. A quiet, dangerous smile of someone who's already checked the fire code. David, she said, I love that question, because it's the same one I get from my constituents, but not in the way you mean. Rayma blinked. You could almost hear his internal monologue. Wait, is she supposed to panic and mention Scandinavia now? This wasn't the defensive response he expected. It was the verbal equivalent of handing a critic a flamethrower. She leaned in, voice like a surgeon's scalpel. But way more fun at parties. When you ask who's going to pay for it, you're really saying, we can't afford to help people. Cue the sound of Rayma's pen snapping in half. But when my constituents ask that question, the kind where you hear a fly land on the studio monitor, they're asking why we pay trillions to bail out banks, fund endless wars, and give tax breaks to billionaires, but suddenly, when we want health care, housing, and clean energy, the money disappears. Rayma's co-host quietly slid his chair backward. I'm just here for the weather segment, he mouthed to the camera. The studio went dead silent. Even Rayma's co-host stopped typing. AOC wasn't defending policies. She was exposing the moral hypocrisy behind the question. Like finding out your vegan friend secretly runs a hot dog stand. Rayma scrambled. But Congresswoman, we have to be realistic. Polling shows these ideas are too far left for voters. Ah, yes, polling. That magical crystal ball that always tells rich guys what they want to hear. Owl cut him off. Not with anger. With clarity so sharp, it could slice through Rayma's trust fund. David, let me ask you something. You could feel the entire CNN staff lean toward their monitors. This was better than The Bachelor. When was the last time you had to choose between fixing your car and paying your student loan? The kind where you hear Rayma's stock portfolio crashing in real time. Rayma stammered. I don't think my personal life is relevant. Oh, but a T is, AOC shot back, voice rising like a tide of student debt. You're sitting there in a $4,000 suit, telling working people there, dreams are unrealistic, while your network profits from ads by the very corporations bankrupting them. Side note, that suit? It probably costs more than my rent. No notes. She locked eyes with the camera. You don't get to call our agenda unrealistic, when the only thing actually unrealistic is believing we can keep ignoring the crisis. Rayma's face went from smug anchor to guy who just realized he left the stove on. Classic. Rayma tried to respond, His mouth opened, closed, opened again. Looked like a goldfish auditioning for Finding Nemo. Nothing came out, for the first time in 15 years on air. David Rayma was speechless. CNN fact check. This is rarer than a bipartisan bill passing the Senate. AOC stood up. I came here to talk about policy, not perform for your ratings, mic drop, but classier, like a mic curtsy. If you're ever ready to have a real conversation about what working families need, you know where to find me. And with that, she walked off the set. Not a strut, not a stomp, just, I've got real work to do. Iconic. The cameras kept rolling. 17 seconds of pure, unscripted silence. 17 seconds of empire crumbling. The crew later admitted they were too busy taking screenshots to cut away. Priorities. Within 8 minutes, the clip hit. Twitter, within 1 hour, minus 2 million views. By midnight, hashtag AOC shuts down, CNN was trending worldwide. Beating sports. Beating celebrity news. Beating Ukraine headlines. Even my aunt texted me. Who's AOC? Why is she better than CNN? Aunt Carol, you legend. TikTok exploded with Gen Z recreating her line. When you explain the entire economy in one sentence. My personal favorite, a college kid holding 2 coffee cups. This is my student loan. This is my rent. They're the same cup. Instagram flooded with split screens. Rhymer smug gives Rhymer GHOST white. One meme captioned it, when you realize your entire worldview is a Hallmark movie. Bernie Sanders tweeted, that wasn't a response. That was a revolution. Followed by, also David, my sweater collection says hi. This wasn't viral. It was a paradigm shift, the kind that makes focus groups cry and billionaires check their panic rooms. For years, media gatekeepers like Rhymer decided what's politically possible, who's electable, what ideas are serious. Spoiler, serious usually meant won't upset my yacht club buddies. But AOC just proved something explosive. The people don't need their permission anymore. In 48 hours, $4.2 million in small dollar. Donations, mostly from people named Dave, sending $7.50. Progressive candidates surging nationwide. Young organizers coining pull an AOC, meaning speak truth. Walk off, win. Bonus. Get Rhymered now means to have your entire worldview evaporate on live TV. This changes everything, especially for Rhymer's team. Rumor has it they're now required to watch the clip before every broadcast. For humility training, their memo said, if this fired you up, if you're tired of million-dollar pundits lecturing working people from ivory towers so high they think struggle is a new Netflix series, hit subscribe, right? Now, ring that notification bell. This channel is for everyone who believes real change doesn't come from compromise. It comes from courage. And occasionally, walking offsets. Looking at you, AOC, and tell me in the comments, was AOC right to walk off, or did she go too far? Be honest if you weren't fist-pumping when she stood up. Check your pulse, because the fight for our future isn't happening in boardrooms. It's happening right here. And yes, I did just say right here like a cheesy infomercial. But hey, if the shoe fits. David Rayma thought he was interviewing a politician. He was really facing a movement, one that's done waiting, done toning. It done, being told fighting for people is too radical. Newsflash, David, wanting clean water isn't radical. It's Tuesday. Because as AOC proved that night, the most dangerous thing in politics isn't a bold idea. It's a politician who won't back down. Or, as my Gen Z cousin put it, she didn't just clap back, she yeeted the entire podium.